Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to use MySQL with Node.js, basically. But first before we begin, let me show you how to create a user and all those kind of things that are necessary for this tutorial. So I'm going to sign. First, I'm going to sign in. Hopefully, you can see what I'm doing. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, clear this. Okay, so I'm going to sign in MySQL to my root account. It requires my password. So I'm currently entering my password. I'm in. Nice. So my root account, let's see what I have. I'm not going to use this, but the point of me showing you this is I'm going to create a new user for this tutorial. So to create a new user, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, let me drop the user first because I have a user already that I created. Drop user. So on this machine, okay, that's dropped. All right, so now let me create a new user. So I'm going to do create user. Well, that might be confusing to you guys. So let me do it over again. Create user. What should I call this? Tutorial. Tutorial. And then on this machine at localhost. And then identified by the password. The password I'm gonna get this is tutorial. Doesn't matter if you know this. Again, this I'm gonna change the access. I'm gonna show you how to grant access as well. So create user tutorial. Beautiful. So this user is created. Now, next thing is I'm gonna limit its access. So I'm gonna say grants all on. So the database that I want this tutorial to have is this. As you can see, this is the database right here. I only want him to have that user to have access to this database. Create thing on star to. So just copy this. Get my mouse. A local host. Beautiful. So now this user has only that database access. How can I prove this? Well, notice when I sign into the root, you get all of this in my database. Now, let me exit and let me sign in again. MySQL, now using this new user, tutorial, minus password. We know the password is tutorial. Now let's show the database. Bada boom. See, we only have access to the SQL tutorial database. Awesome. So that's the first step. Now the next step is right here. So again, the whole goal of this is using SQL with Node.js. So the first thing is this usually contains 3 different files. I like to do everything in separate my files rather than cluster everything in one file. So in this .sql container, I'm going to make the table and the database. Well, we already have the database, but just in case we do not have it, these are things that I just always do. Show databases. Again, this tutorial is this is the first segment in using the JS with SQL. I know I haven't created a JS file yet, but just give me 1 second. Show databases. Next is create actually no, you guys just saw me use that. So use let's see, this one, and then create a table. Create table. Let's call this create table items. And what does items require? It requires a name, and it has to be a text. So varchar max is 50. It requires a quantity. I'll just say amount, whatever. And that has to be int. And that's it. And then show tables. So to run this, all you need to do is type source. Oh, source, and the name of the file, which is section1.sql on your MySQL. So I'm gonna just copy that. Done. See, we have the table items. Then you can even describe items. Beautiful. Works. Alright, so now that we have this in the .sql file, the next thing I want to do is I want to create the logging for nodejs. So let me just let me open a new terminal. And go to the tutorial section. So I'm going to create a login. So I'm going to make the file touch. I'm going to call this login sql.js. Okay, so this is the file. So the first thing you need to do is bring in MySQL. If you don't have MySQL, just download it. I do have it already. npm install -- save MySQL. It's going to, well, it's going to download on this local file. So there we go. So I do have it now. I have MySQL. Okay, so I can bring it in. Const MySQL. So we're using the common JS module system, which is require and module.export. Require MySQL. That's the first thing that we need to do. The next thing we need to do is we need to create the connection. So we can say const con MySQL dot create connection. Now we need to pass in necessary parameters. But before we do that, we can export this module.exports equal con. Now a lot of people do their connections, do their queries and everything in this logging file. That's not how it should work. This file is simply for logging purposes alone, nothing else. So, well, I think this video is getting a little bit too long. So I'm going to stop this video here, and in the next video, I'm going to show you the parameters that goes in here, and then after that, show you where I'm going to import this con and use it to make my queries.